What is up, Comic Book Nation? Connor Casey here, and unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've probably heard that the world of professional wrestling is on the verge of a new golden age. But instead of Raw and SmackDown, the real buzz is building around WWE's third brand, NXT. Packed with names you might not recognize, WWE's black and gold brand has some must-see talent, and we're going to break down which wrestlers you need to be on the lookout for. But first, a little background. Back in 2010, NXT debuted as a weekly competition show, where WWE would introduce a batch of new wrestlers to audiences and make them compete in wacky competitions, and it was mostly terrible, and it fizzled out after just a couple seasons. But just 2 years later, the brand found new life when it replaced Florida Championship Wrestling as WWE's official developmental promotion, where rookie wrestlers could master their craft. By 2014, NXT became a weekly staple of the WWE Network, and over time, the show developed a loyal, die-hard fan base. In the years that followed, NXT started earning the reputation as WWE's best show each week, and its takeover pay-per-views consistently outshined WWE's main roster. Finally, in 2019, NXT shed its title as WWE's developmental territory and stepped up as the promotion's official third brand. On October 2nd, 2019, NXT premiered its 2-hour weekly live show on the USA Network from Full Sail Live in Orlando, Florida, and ever since then it's been pumping out solid shows week after week. Now let's take a look at that roster, and we absolutely need to start with the Undisputed Era. The faction consists of 4 former independent wrestling stars in Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole, Bebe. Thanks to their heelish tactics and constantly outnumbering and outsmarting their opponents, the 4 have managed to capture all 3 of NXT's top championships and fulfill what they call the Undisputed Prophecy. And it sounds goofy, but it's hard to argue with all that gold they're carrying around. Then there's the heart and soul of NXT, Johnny Gargano. Over the years, the man known as Johnny Wrestling has become a fan favorite among NXT faithful, and back at NXT TakeOver New York, he finally accomplished his years-long journey by becoming NXT champion. Shortly after that, he announced he would never leave the show, something unheard of in today's current WWE. But for every hero, there must be a villain, and few men have reached a level of infamy quite like Tommaso Champa. The Sicilian psychopath betrayed his best friend Gargano in a fit of blind jealousy back in 2017. And throughout 2018, the two would face off in 3 of the most violent matches in NXT history, eventually culminating in Ciampa getting his hands on the NXT title. Unfortunately, Ciampa's run with the title, which he refers to as Goldie, came to an abrupt end back in March due to a neck injury. And while he seems to have turned over a new leaf since his return, it feels like it's only a matter of time before Ciampa snaps once again. Since we're on the subject of villains, I should probably mention Finn Balor. The Irish superstar still holds the record as the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, and once upon a time he was the brand's biggest star. But after a, let's call it rocky few years on Raw and SmackDown, the former world champion decided to jump back to NXT in early October. Not long after that, Balor shockingly turned heel and now channels the same cocky persona that made him a star outside of WWE. NXT has produced dozens of incredible women's wrestlers over the years, but lately the women's division has been utterly dominated by just one woman, Shayna Baszler. With the help of her 4 horsewomen cohorts, the former UFC fighter has already held the NXT Women's Championship for more than 500 combined days, and her ruthless mastery of submission holds has led to a laundry list of victims. But even with Baszler's dominance, the women's division is still stacked, with such names as the brutal powerhouse Rhea Ripley, the ever-confident Bianca Belair, the calculating high-flyer Io Shirai, and the lovable underdog Candice LeRae. But we're still not done. Be sure to keep an eye out for the wildly charismatic Velveteen Dream, the MMA star turned unstoppable striker Matt Riddle, Keith Lee and his limitless strength, the Ring General Walter, British standouts Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and Japanese sensation Kushida. For coverage on all these stars and many more, be sure to check out Comic Book's wrestling page, and don't miss our live coverage of NXT every Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. Central. For Comicbook.com, I'm Connor Casey, and I'll see you guys next time.